Some bad news out of Lincoln today, along with a true quarterback battle. Let's get into it, but before we do, please hit the subscribe button and like the video. If you like content like this, we have pregame, postgame, live streams, update videos like this, all coming at you throughout the season and through the offseason, so definitely don't want to miss out on any of that, but let's get into it, and let's start off with the injuries. So it was announced today that Gabe Ervin and Rahmir Johnson are both out for the year with injury. Gabe Ervin dislocated his shoulder, and then Rahmir Johnson dislocated his hip, I believe. So two huge losses there. I mean, running is our identity. If you haven't caught on by that by now, that's what this offense relies on. We just lost our two top backs, and it's going to come down to Anthony Grant. It's going to come down to Emmett Johnson to really step up in their absence. This is bad news. This was really bad news. It feels like this happens all the time for Nebraska too. Like, you have something good, you have a part of your offense that you really like and appreciate, and they go out with injury. Wow. I mean, this was shocking. I noted that they got injured at the end of that game, but I don't really think it was as serious. This is frustrating. Nothing really else should be said. I want to get to Haarberg, and we'll tie back to the running back situation after this. But I want to get to Heinrich Haarberg, and I want to talk about his performance against Northern Illinois and kind of what Nebraska's been talking about and what I think we should do with the quarterback position. So I want to start off with this. I was not overly impressed with Heinrich Haarberg against Northern Illinois, and I didn't need to be. I didn't need to be impressed with Heinrich Haarberg. I needed to see a competent quarterback because that's what we didn't have the first 2 weeks. So did I see a competent quarterback? Yes. Did I see an outstanding quarterback or anything that convinced me that he is the long-term answer? Absolutely not, right? He ran this football 21 times. A lot of them were not designed runs. He only threw the ball 24 times for 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. The QBR was not great. He was only 51 today. Haarberg did not have a great game, folks. I think a lot of people see the stat line, they say, okay, he had no turnovers, he had no bobble snaps, he had no fumbles, perfect, he's our quarterback. And honestly, I agree with them. The fact that he did take care of the football is great. My thing, however, with Haarberg is that the staff did not put him in a position to turn the football over, right? Unless he fumbled it. That was the only way he could possibly turn the football over, right? Every single pass he had was either a check down or a design play. There was never a long developing pass that they gave Haarberg. They did not want to put Haarberg in a situation where he turned the ball over because they knew that would not be good for them and wouldn't be good for winning the football game, right? They didn't test Haarberg at all through the passing game. And this is the one thing that frustrated me with Haarberg was his progressions. They were awful against Northern Illinois. And that's the one thing I look for in young quarterbacks like him who are getting in the ball game is their progressions. When I watched Haarberg, it was always he had one read and he'd run out of the pocket. If that one read wasn't there, he's gone. Okay, and at best, he had 2 reads. At best. There was never a play where he goes 1, 2, 3, bang. Never that. It was 1 or 2 reads or any scrambles. And you can get away with that against a team like Northern Illinois. You cannot get away with not going through your progressions against a team like Michigan. You just can't get away with that. And he would run. There were times where he had a clean pocket and he just run, immediately. Right? He had nothing there. Oh, play's over, right? My one read wasn't there. It's over. So that was frustrating to see from a young quarterback because, again, that'll work out when you're playing a team like Northern Illinois or Louisiana Tech. It won't work when you play Big Ten opponents. So that's frustrated me about Heinrich Haarberg. The second thing that frustrated me about Heinrich Haarberg was I was always asking myself throughout the game, I said, this is all right for a quarterback who's never started before, but is there anything out there that he's doing that I don't think Sims can do, just from a athletic standpoint, from a passing the ball standpoint? He didn't prove to me anything passing the football. You should not go away from this game and say Heinrich Haarberg threw the football well. He didn't. He really didn't. It was all check down passes. He threw one impressive play, and it was the first pass he did. It was DeMarcus Washington on a 20-yard in route. Right? That was about it. But he did impress me through the running game, I should say. But again, there was nothing really today where not today, it was a couple days ago, obviously, but there was nothing where he did, and I was like, oh yeah, Jeff Sims cannot do that. Besides maybe, not fumbling the football and bobbling the snaps. So, and I'm not advocating for Jeff Sims at all. I'm not advocating for Jeff Sims in the slightest. I think there should be a true quarterback battle. But I wasn't impressed with Haarberg. And I think a lot of people who, are coming away from that game and saying, oh, Haarberg's quarterback one. I don't buy that at all. I think we should have a real quarterback battle. And in my opinion, in my heart of hearts, I believe Joe Purdy should be quarterback one. I will repeatedly say that. Like, I think Haarberg is not the answer. I don't think here's the thing about Haarberg, and I will continue to go back to this. He's a great runner of the football, and he has a great arm. He can throw that ball 70 yards, okay? It is the mental aspect of the game, like going through his progressions, like staying in the pocket, like having that pocket presence, that he will forever, it'll never work out. It'll never work out in that regard, okay? And that's not saying he can't be a decent quarterback. You can struggle with that kind of aspect of the game and still be all right. Okay, I remember, Anthony Richardson, Lamar Jackson, guys who really struggle with progressions, but those are also athletic freaks. Do we really want to put Haarberg in the same category as them? So yeah, that's what really frustrated me about Haarberg is progressions. It is, his mental, is his quarterback smarts, quarterback IQ. It wasn't there. So that's what frustrated me. But running the football, he was awesome. 21 carries, 98 yards. Too much running the football of a quarterback for my liking. You should not run with the quarterback 20 times in one ball game. Not with this offense. You just should not. You'll get banged up. We wonder why Jeff Sims is banged up after 2 games. Haarberg will get banged up if we continue to do this. So that'll be frustrating. Another thing about Haarberg, which I did not love, was staring down receivers. He had clear favorites in this game. Thomas Fidone was his clear favorite in this game. There were plays where he just stared down Fidone, and Fidone wouldn't even be open. He just chuck it in there because that was his only read. So that's another thing Haarberg needs to work on. But I should go to Fidone. Fidone had a good game. He had 4 catches, 42 yards. Nothing overly impressive. He had one pretty all right play. I think his touchdown play was okay. He was pretty wide open. I mean, he shushed the crowd. That was kind of funny. I was at the game and everyone was like, what is he doing? What is he doing? Shushing the crowd. But Fidone had an all right game. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. You want to see more of that. So good there. But yeah, so that was my evaluation of Haarberg. Now, where do I think we should go from here with Haarberg? And I think if Jeff Sims is healthy, I want to see Jeff Sims versus Louisiana Tech. That's my take. Okay, and I'm not benching Haarberg by any means. I'm going to say this. You saw Haarberg against a bad team. Now you're going to see Jeff Sims against a bad team. And then you're going to have a real quarterback battle going into Michigan based on those 2 performances. Because it's not fair, right? Everyone is jumping to conclusions because Haarberg played, decent against Northern Illinois. Jeff Sims played Power 5 defenses. They're not really comparable. And I know Jeff Sims played garbage, and I'm not advocating for Jeff Sims, but I think we should give him a little bit of a fair fight. So he'll start that Louisiana Tech game, and then we can evaluate it going into Michigan. Because let's be real here, folks. Michigan is a very good team. Our top 5 team. We are not going to beat Michigan. I don't care where it is. I don't care. I know we're playing at home. We're not beating Michigan. Okay, so it doesn't really matter who we throw out there at quarterback. But I want to throw the quarterback who earns it, and I think Jeff Sims should start against Louisiana Tech so we can evaluate that performance and then go from there. So that's my take. Again, I wasn't overly impressed with Haarberg. I like that he didn't turn the ball over. He just leaves so many question marks when it comes to throwing the football. And really, the same question marks I had reign true. He struggles with the IQ. The progressions were not there. He's staring down receivers. He had bad pocket presence. He just can't run the football 20 times in one game. It just can't happen. So that's what's frustrating about it. But honestly, I'm not going to be harsh on him. He had a great game. He had a good game for a quarterback who, was on the scout team last year. And it was his first start. So that I will give him props for. Real quick, I want to evaluate the receiving game, which I'm really frustrated with. This receiver room is bad, guys. We need to have a conversation about it. Okay, we're not doing our quarterbacks any favor. Marcus Washington needs to get more touches. Billy Kemp had 3 catches, 1 touchdown. Okay, Alex Bullock is a receiving leader on the team. He does not have more than 100 yards. Alex Bullock, I think, has 2 catches on the season, 3 catches on the season. And the only reason why he's a receiving leader is because of that botched, trick play against Minnesota that shouldn't have happened, but he got it for a 50-yard receiving touchdown. I'm an advocate for Billy Kemp. I'm an advocate for Alex Bullock not starting. I just don't think he gives you anything. He just doesn't give you anything. He doesn't get separation. He's not open. He drops the football way too much. There's nothing this guy does that really separates himself from the competition. Okay, at this point, it's time where you start giving guys like Jalen Lloyd reps, Malachi Coleman reps, Demetrius Bell reps. It's time to get those guys in the ball game and see what they can do. So Yeah. Anything else really intriguing over, Northern Illinois? The defense played great. This defense is going to keep us in ball games this year. It really is. It's just we're an Iowa team right now. I keep comparing us to Iowa. It's because we're Iowa. We have a really incompetent offense, which is based on running the football with a quarterback who can't throw. And we have a defense which is really solid and keeps us in ball games. The only difference between us and Iowa is I'd say our offense is worse and our defense is worse. Because our defense is solid, except it doesn't force turnovers. That's the only problem with it. It does not force turnovers. Iowa's does. So I'd say we're very comparable to Iowa. But yeah, so that's the team. That's the quarterback situation. Let's just go back to the running back situation. Again, Gabe Irving, I feel bad for him, man. He worked so hard to get back from his first injury towards ACL. Now he's out for the year. And then Ramir Johnson. I kept talking about Ramir. This is a prove-it game. This is a prove-it year for him. Just kind of it's a knife in the chest for him. But now it's time for Anthony Grant to prove it. Anthony Grant's going into his last year of college. We know how talented he is. Now he can be the bell cow that every Nebraska fans love so much. He has an opportunity to be our bell cow. Let's see what he does with it. We'll see if he comes up clutch. Again, we need Emmett Johnson to produce. Everybody has been talking about how good Emmett Johnson is. The coaching staff loves him. Let's see what he can do. Yeah, so there's still some good depth in that room, but it'll weed out very quickly now that those two are out for the year. So I don't know. We're going to beat Louisiana Tech, of course. At this point, and this would be my advice to Nebraska fans, just go into every game with a level head, and if we lose, we lose, but try to see the good parts and try to focus on that and try to focus on improvement, because that's going to be the indicators whether or not Matt Rhule is the guy or not, is those indicators of improvement. And if the team's fighting and the team's working hard, at this point, I've already, came to terms with the fact that we're not going to be very good this year. We're not. This offense is not going to win us very much ball games with how bad it is. And I don't think Haarberg's the answer. I don't think Jeff Sims is the answer. I don't even know if Chevin Purdy's the answer. I've come to terms that we're not going to be great this year. But that doesn't mean that we can't still fight and can't, see indicators that Matt Rhule is the guy. So that's what I give advice to. But hopefully we do end up winning ball games this year. So that'll be it for the video, everybody. Let me know in the comment section what you think about Haarberg's performance, if he's the guy, if Jeff Sims is the guy, if Chevin Purdy's the guy. Let me know about the running back room. What do you guys think about them with these two injuries? And yeah, so if any other things pop up, let me know. As for the video, thank you guys for watching. As always, go Matt Rhule, go Big Red. See you in the next one.